Hey everybody, and welcome back to Newegg TV. I'm Steve, and today I'm going to do a quick overview on this mini PC kit from ECS named LIVA. All right, so the LIVA mini PC kit, it's actually named a PC kit instead of just a standard like a mini system, is because it doesn't actually have an operating system in it. Now they say that it does support OS, two different OSs I should say, Windows 8 and 8 or 8.1 as well as Ubuntu. So keep that in mind when you're getting this particular device, that you are going to need to provide an operating system. The one that they provided for me, they said that they installed Windows 8 on it for me, so that I've already got Windows 8 ready to go for a quick demo. But aside from that, it's also using one of Intel's new SoCs from the Bay Trail M line, specifically the Intel Celeron N2806 processor. That's clocked at 1.6 gigahertz as well as a burst frequency of 2 gigahertz. It's also including Intel HD graphics as well. That's going to have a base frequency of 313 megahertz and a burst frequency of 756. This model comes in either 32 gigabyte or 64 gigabyte versions that have soldered on eMMC storage, flash storage I should say. But let's go ahead and open it up and take a closer look at all the stuff in the box. All right, so first off, stuff that comes inside the box, we're looking at the quick installation guide, and I'll give you a quick look at the little graph here inside, or little pictographs that are inside to show you exactly how you can install everything. It's actually really simple. In fact, I'm going to try and do it for you guys on camera with a 40-second timer. So it'll be a race against the clock, probably the least fascinating thing you're going to see all day today, but we'll see what happens. So we also have a user guide too, giving you a little bit of information in there in multiple different languages, as well as some information about the UEFI inside, or the BIOS probably in this particular case. Moving right along, we also have the System Utility DVD, and that is because this is it is providing you some of the software, as well as Norton's software here too, also provided on this particular disc. But in terms of drivers, you're probably going to want to go online and get them on a little USB and then put them into this device, because unless you have an optical drive that's external, or if you have one of those adapters to go from SATA to USB, you're not going to be able to use it on this particular device because there is no optical drive in it. Aside from that, they're also providing for you this extremely teeny tiny half PCI Express card. That this particular one is providing you with Bluetooth connectivity as well as Wi-Fi. It is Wi-Fi 802.11 ABG and N compatible. It's a very small little NGFF card here, used to connect to the M.2 slot on the actual device itself. Specifically, this is an Azure Wave AW-NB136NF card. It also uses a Broadcom BCM43142 chip for Wi-Fi connectivity. That's a little information out there for those of you who like extra information on stuff. Also providing two very small antennas. This is a 2x2 solution, I believe, and it does also provide a little, actually I'm flipping around the wrong side for you, some adhesive to attach it. I'll show you where that's going to come into play here in just a little bit. Moving that out of the way. Of course, they're providing the very tiny screw that's required to actually screw in that small NGFF card. Then the AC adapter itself. What's the power rating on this? Actually, I was curious about that earlier and I forgot to double check. Looks like output is 5 volt at 3 amp, guys. So FYI on that. Be powering the small device. And then the plastic chassis that just sort of clips together. And finally, on to the very small motherboard. This is the ECS BAT Mini. It's very tiny. It has a lot of connectivity though. I'm going to try and go through everything with you guys. So that's the back of it. Here's the front of it. Of course, it's fanless. Heatsink here just right on top of the CPU, and specifically, as I said before, it's the Intel Celeron N2806 processor. Then a little bit off to the side of it actually would be where and actually maybe I can turn a little bit. You can actually see where the NAND is for the SanDisk eMMC 32 gigabyte NAND on this particular model, because there is once again 32 gig version as well as a 64 gig version. Started right onto the board. Then we have two very small memory modules right here. These are actually a total of 2 gigabytes of DDR3L memory. Here's two more of them there. For a grand total of 2 gigabytes, so 512 on each one of those. Our model is actually using SK Hynix DDR3 1600 memory. that is voltage of 1.35, which is standard for the DDR3L, and CL11 across the board. But I've noticed though by connecting this into Windows, it actually rates it at 1066. So just keep that in mind, that just because the memory modules here are capable of doing more, that it doesn't necessarily mean that it will actually be set to use that as well. Then going right across the board here at the very front, we have a very small switch that's actually the power switch. Next to that, we have the UART debug header here, so you can just plug that in to do some debugging. Then of course we have the audio connector. This is a combo jack, so you're getting the 3.5mm tip ring sleeve style connector that is for the microphone as well as the headphones or speakers, I guess, in that particular case. Spinning around to this side, you can't really see much, but if I go all the way around, you can see the I/O. Where in this particular case, we're looking on the far left-hand side, and this is where the micro USB is for the power in. Then we have USB 3.0, USB 2.0, gigabit Ethernet, HDMI out, as well as D-sub out for VGA connectivity as well. Now if I flip it over to the bottom, there's just a couple more things left to mention, and that is that we have the battery here providing power for the board once it's disconnected from main power source. Keep that clock going. And then we have the NGFF or M.2 connector here, and that's actually where we will pop in this Azure Wave Bluetooth and wireless card to provide that kind of connectivity for this device. So here's where the antennas would actually be attached to the bottom of the, or I guess I should say the top of the actual upper portion of the chassis. And the cable is probably so hard to see, but there's a very small like black cable that runs from this side to this side that goes right through the, right back through here. It's probably just too difficult to see. But the bottom line is just make sure that the small cable just from the antenna fishes in right between the fins here and runs from one side to the other. Make sure that the longer cable, in my case it's the black one, is on one side, the furthest side from where it's going to need to connect, and the shorter one's on the closest side. It's pretty straightforward, common sense on that. Jenny watching a funny video right now. But yes, so okay, let me try and do this. So essentially they say it takes 40 seconds to do this. I hope to be able to pull that off. Let's just find out how well this goes. So move this out of the way. I get my little timer ready, and here we go. No fails, no fails, no wowsies. Go. All right. I forgot what to do already. How do I do this? No. Plug this directly in here, and then I'm going to talk very little during this, guys. Sorry. Just realized I'm not going to give you a step-by-step on this one. These two going this way. Get in there. And all right, let me just stop the timer real quick because clearly I was right at 40 seconds. I just needed to plug this in. So as you can basically see, it clearly took me 38 seconds plus maybe like 4 seconds to actually plug this in. That's really what slowed me down on this one. But yeah, it's all ready to go. All I have to do now is just power this baby up by plugging it into an outlet, and I'll show you guys what Windows 8 looks like. One last thing I wanted to mention too, that this system actually has an LED on the front, green as you can see, just letting you know that there's power to it. But I also wanted to show you Windows 8 just to display a little bit more information about the internals on this small mini PC. If I show you here the CPU information, as I mentioned before, the Intel Celeron N2806 Bay Trail M processor. I'll jump over to the memory, which in this particular case is clocked at 1066. Also, the CAS latencies. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and that is going to wrap up this overview on the LIVA Mini PC kit from ECS. Don't forget, if you liked the video, to click the like button. If you haven't already done so, click subscribe to any of our various YouTube channels. And until then, we will see you guys very soon.